Good morning and welcome to this beautiful day. My name is Carrie.
I'm Jeannine.
And we are the Idea Ladies from the Passionate Home in Langley. And Candace is here this morning behind the camera, so welcome. If you are there, thank you for being there and please say hello. And as always, if you have any questions, just type them in there and Candace will read them out to us.
Good morning to Cynthia and to Cheryl.
Oh, good morning. So we are here every Friday at 9:30 to help you create a beautiful life and to inspire you to try something new. And we have had so many questions on top coats.
Top coats, yeah.
Right? Like how do you seal your chalk paint? Mm-hmm. And I think it's something we just take for granted. And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we thought we would kind of take a step back and really cover what the top coat is, what the options are, how to do it, and hopefully that will help you and answer any questions. But if we're not answering them, like I said, just type them in.
Right.
First
good morning from Deborah. Pauline Marks is on.
Oh.
Denise is on. Mike says good morning.
Good
Janice
morning.
Is on. Lots of
Yay.
people are on first thing this morning.
See, everybody wants to know about top coats.
Yeah.
So I want to answer a question first. Is a lady asked this morning. She is on Instagram and she said, how do I watch the video on Facebook? And we do go live at 9:30 on Facebook. But after this, we will share it to TPH TV, which can be viewed in the link on Instagram, right, in the bio.
Okay, yes.
And it will also come out in our Tuesday newsletter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can find it on thepassionatehome.com. Right?
And thepassionatehome.com. So there's that. I just wanted to put that out into the universe. And then can I just keep talking?
Okay.
So I wanted to show you something. Before we get into this, I wanted to show you something really cute. If you follow us on social media, you probably already saw what I did with my leftover breakfast yogurt container. Look what I made. Look what I made.
Isn't this incredible? Oh my goodness.
This is the wonders of chalk paint by Annie Sloan. It is incredible. All this texture. And it just literally went from this to this. And it is planting season.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're probably going to want to know how we did this and how to create texture, but we're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
So you'll want to make sure you tune in for that. Create some texture.
Teresa says good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Pauline is in Quebec.
Oh, good morning, Quebec. Good morning. I was going to say bonjour. Good morgen, that's German. Okay. Do you want to start us off?
Okay, well, let's talk about our options for top coat, right?
Okay.
So I know that a lot of people had questions after our restoration hardware finished, so I brought that board back because I never actually showed how to wax it. So this was the one where we painted it in French linen and did a wash on top with a mix of old white and Paris gray. So we'll divide this maybe into sections and we're going to talk about waxing that. We also brought our tile from the week last week, I guess, and we're going to show how to lacquer that again. We did a quick little demo, but we're going to talk about lacquer versus wax, and sometimes maybe when you don't need anything at all, but that's a whole nother topic too. So that's outdoors.
If you did not see, a couple weeks back, we covered how to create where this top coat question started coming in because the people who are watching come in right away and they've got questions. So we want to make sure if one person has a question, other people have them too.
Yeah. Should I just start waxing and you could just start talking about all the different things?
Okay, so the choices, as Jeannine said, is either wax or lacquer or nothing at all, okay? So Annie Sloan has 4 waxes. A clear, you know what, I'm going to open it.
Yeah, and then I can use them after.
Okay.
Not very
Krista
straight.
says good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Krista.
Valerie's on.
This is my...
Krista.
So first of all, you do not need to buy clear in this great big bucket, but we do because we use so much of it. And if you're a big user, this size is available and we have it in stock. So this is clear wax. Candace, can you see? This is what you want to put on your chalk paint. If you want to keep the color true, it'll just bring out the color and keep it and highlight its magnificence, right? So clear.
Even though it looks opaque and whitish.
Yeah,
it does.
White, you'll see the difference.
You'll see
for sure. I'm going to open the white next. Okay, this one's white. Can you see that? There's nothing in there. I didn't check these ahead of time.
So maybe hold them beside each other, the white and the clear, just for a minute, so people can see.
Yeah, you can see the difference there.
Yeah.
few times I've been asked, oh, I think I got the wrong wax.
Well, look,
Nope.
it's definitely white.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So clear and white. These are options. We also have, do you want me to hand you the clear?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe I can just start.
And a clear brush. Okay, I'm going to show the colors and we'll talk about tools, or do you want to talk about the tool?
Yeah, you keep showing the colors.
All right.
Thanks, Nana.
There is also a black wax. This is black. Okay? I like to say you're going to add black wax if you're kind of creating an industrial type look or something. I got
Here's the third size of wax. So this big one, it just comes in the clear.
Yeah.
And these are the regular, these are $35.95, and this one's $22. So if you just need a little bit, usually the dark wax I don't use quite as much.
So this
I
is
just get the
dark.
mini.
It looks really dark.
It's brown
Yeah,
compared
it is
to the
brown.
black.
Dark is brown, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
So
see
when-
on camera. But
Okay, so you're welcome to come in and see all these. We'll open them up for you. We'll help you demo it. If you want to actually get,
Right.
if you're struggling with this, we're here to help you with it. So the dark wax is what people often call like an antique wax. How can I antique it? We would lean you into the dark wax. So 4 waxes are options, but in 99% of finishes, you're going to start with
The clear wax.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. And you're going to always put the clear wax on first before the dark or the black.
Why?
Well, it just helps you get a smoother finish. Like if I just start with the black wax on here, it's just going to turn my paint black, and it's not going to give
It's
you
like
that.
a stain.
Yeah.
Once
exactly.
it hits there, it's not moving.
So if you put the clear first,
Yeah.
then it just helps you slide and have some control and movability of
Correct.
the black. And it'll just sink into my grooves.
So how do you apply wax?
Okay, so I'm going to use a waxing brush. You can use a rag, but I find this very difficult, especially on large surfaces. Like to hold this even, you're going to lose about 30% of your wax in your rag. This just holds it where you need it. This is an Sloan waxing brush, and it's a natural bristle. And it's just kind of more dense and just holds it where you need it. So I'm going to just dip my brush. I should scoop this out onto a plate. You don't really want to contaminate your wax with different colors, and especially if you've been sanding and things, you're going to get little particles in there. And then I'm just going to work it into my brush on a different plate.
So just even use a scoop like this and
Yeah.
scoop it out onto here, so that if you did happen to have painted this with Oxford Navy and you have dust, you're not putting that dust back in your big beautiful
Right?
bin. Okay.
So I'm going to just get this on here, and then I'm going to smooth it out with the wood grain, like that. Super easy. And then I'm going to wipe away my excess. So I've gone with the wood grain. You can now see the difference between the waxed part, I hope, and the non-waxed part.
I can. It looks a little bit richer.
It
for
just
sure.
intensifies it.
Yeah.
So then, you can do like 2 to 3 coats of wax if you wanted to. You should wait about 24 hours between coats if you want a really good, solid finish. But I just can see that some of these spots have not been waxed.
Well,
completely.
it's got so much
Yeah, there's a
texture
ton
here.
of texture.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take my lint-free rag, my hair in it, sorry, and remove the excess. So that's happening right away. Now we're going to wait 24 hours, and we're going to do something called buffing, and that you just take your clean rag and you smooth it, and just till it feels nice and smooth and doesn't feel like sticky at all.
So that is the easiest step to do. You paint, you wait for the paint to dry, you distress it if you want, and then when you get it the way you love it, you're going to seal it with a wax.
Right.
Wipe the paint on, like remember the movie? On,
Wax
off,
off, wax off.
on, off. So you don't want to do the whole dresser and then
No.
come back and start wiping, because in 3 to 5 minutes that wax has started to dry and it'll be very hard to
Right.
remove. So you want to wipe it off as you go, on, off, and then buff 24 hours later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your temperature of where you're waxing
Oh.
makes a huge difference too. So
Yeah.
if your wax is slightly a little bit warm, like if it's nice warm in your home, it's way easier. I
It does,
actually
it goes
brought
on
a
smoother.
desk outside the other day, and I thought it was warm enough. Side went on beautifully. When I moved to the top, finally, it was getting a little crumbly and not going on as nicely. So I moved back in the house, waited for my wax to warm up again.
So do store your wax and your paints inside, room temperature, not the garage. Burr.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that you can use the waxes like a stain on raw wood? So the clear wax can also be used on the wood. You're not really going to notice this very much for color-wise, but it's just going to seal and protect it and give it a rich finish. So like if your wood is looking a little dry, this just like warms it up, brings out the wood grain again, and makes it beautiful.
You lay it down again.
Oh, can you see it better?
I think the best view where they can see
so
that it's warm.
A lot of customers, when we teach this, they say, well, how do I know I've got it everywhere, right? And there's a couple ways. You can kind of see it, but you can also feel it.
Yeah, you can definitely
And
feel
then
it.
2 coats is best, right? So that if you did happen to miss a little bit, you're going to get it second time round. How are we doing, Candace?
Doing great. It wasn't,
Okay.
I wasn't seeing comments, but all of a sudden they're back there getting so.
Oh, good.
Good morning to Claudia. She said good morning.
Good
There's lots of
morning.
people on.
So, like we talked about, we want to have this clear wax
gonna get you.
underneath the dark or the black wax as well. White, you can get away with just doing white straight onto your surface. You don't need the clear first.
Yeah, so Claudia asked the question, do wax and paint get damaged if left in the garage?
Yes.
Good question.
Well, the paint, they say, can freeze up to 3 times, but it gets hard. So when the paint gets cold, it gets hard. And you can warm it back up to room temperature and store it really well. And it has not compromised the product, but it does make it hard when it's cold, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
if
the
it
wax,
freezes 3 times, then it's
then
not.
it's,
Yeah, the paint.
it's like cottage cheese and
gets
it's
really
yucky.
thick.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for dark wax?
Yes.
So I'm doing this with the wood grain.
So I want to point out she's changed her wax brush now.
I did.
You
yeah.
do not want to cross-contaminate your clear wax with your dark wax, because once you've got dark wax in here, it'll never all come out. So you need to be thinking about your next project.
Right. Where to put this? Okay.
Jane Cooper, good morning, ladies.
Good morning. So I'm wiping away my excess. And see, oh, I wiped it all away.
But you put clear wax on this, right?
Yeah, I
First?
did.
I would not have.
Not on
on the yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Can we flip it over, or is it?
I didn't wax this part. I was going to do
Okay.
the white there, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, let's
Let's
flip
tape it again. Or yeah, flip it.
it. Okay.
Because when you're using dark wax on raw wood, look what you get.
Yeah, you can get a really good stained effect on there.
Yeah.
Right? So this one is really textured. Like this is the unfinished kind of raw wood side. But you
But
can
look
just
at how
see,
beautiful that is.
right? You can get
Yeah.
darker. I just want to work it into all that texture.
Jane says, yes, for sure it will damage. I use me as an example. Yeah, you know what? I think we've all, at one point, learned that lesson.
Okay, so you can definitely see the difference between putting clear wax first and not putting clear wax first on that.
Yeah. The other thing Jeannine's doing is putting the wax on back and forth with the grain of the wood. That is the best advice
Right.
when you're using dark and black wax, to go with the grain of the wood, so that you don't have to fight any weird circular motions if that's not the look you're looking for.
Right? Yeah, you don't want to swirl it on there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered clear and dark on raw wood. Now this is a painted surface.
Right?
So faint here.
Yeah, so I did do the clear wax first, and you can see it's definitely
Take the tape
Darker.
away so people can really see the...
Lise says, good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
okay, there. So this is the unwaxed strip. This
Yeah.
is clear wax and then clear and dark
God, that
wax.
looks amazing.
Right? Isn't that beautiful? So
pretty,
rich.
yeah.
Beautiful.
What can I hand you next? The black?
Should we try black? Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody has any questions on waxes, let us know. I'm going to cover some basic ones here as well while Jeannine is working. We have some great handouts. So if you'd like to read things, or
Yeah.
this is your first project, let us know and we'll share the handouts with you. So first of all, do you need to wax?
You definitely should. It's a 2-step process. The chalk paint works together with the chalk paint wax, right?
Because the paint is water soluble. If you're using it on a busy piece, you do want to have some protection on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How should you look after it after it's been top coated?
You can just, you're going to have it fully cured in about 5 to 21 days. So just be
Right.
gentle with it at that point. After that, I just use like a damp rag to wipe off my dust and a dry one to clean it off again after.
Can you re-wax?
You definitely can re-wax. So, any painted surface can get dinged or damaged or whatever.
Yeah.
If you put a drink cup there and you get a ring of some sort, then just wax that spot again.
Yeah.
Buff it out.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa says, I feel a project coming on. Deborah has a good question.
Yeah.
Is it, oops, and it just moved, hang on. Is it best to apply dark while clear is still damp or wait 24 hours between clear and dark? Excellent question.
Excellent. And we were debating this morning. What did you say?
Well, I was debating the clear wax. The dark and the black I always put on like right away after it's still damp. I just find it so much easier.
I find it more maneuverable, especially when I want to control the darkness and lightness of it. Yeah. But let's say you've clear waxed and then a week later you've changed your mind and you want to add a little dark wax. You could always add clear wax first.
Reactivate it.
And then do the dark or the black.
Right.
Look at that.
There's the black wax. So pretty.
Okay, another one. What's sorry, I'm trying to show them and read the questions. I'm really bad people today. Okay, Marie, once the wax sets and cures, will it get sticky again if the furniture piece is sitting in a sunny window, or is it permanent finish?
I think once it's cured, like it would have to get really hot. Yeah.
Because after it's cured, it's strong. It is wipeable and cleanable. But I would never. I don't think I would put it in a really hot window.
No. I don't think it would get that hot inside. Like, well, maybe.
Nowadays.
In BC.
Yeah.
Can I have the light wax, please?
Sure, sorry. I'm just looking at the cute dog outside. Okay. Shiny thing. There we go. That's Crazy Bob on his way to work. If you're downtown Langley, you need to stop at Crazy Bob's and get yourself a record.
That's right.
So now Jeannine again's using another wax brush with the white wax.
Okay, so the white wax is very subtle. It's the one that I kind of just leave sit in the grooves a little bit longer than the clear wax because I feel like it just needs to sink in a bit more. So it's got a different kind of texture. I don't know where to hold this. So I'm not going to wipe that right away.
I find. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
She didn't clear wax.
She did not. If you're using white wax, you do not need to clear first. I often find the white wax isn't white enough for me. And you can actually add the chalk paint, white paint, into the wax and whip it up and do that.
Yeah, just a small amount.
Or make any colored wax, right?
Of course.
If you want Florence wax, go for it.
Yeah.
Just mix a little bit in.
Another note is, did you know you can mix all the waxes together to make a custom color? Like you could mix the white and the black together.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You get a little bit of a gray.
Super creative, a little bit of a gray. Yeah.
Okay, Mark says, I almost barely wipe it and buff the next day, almost because it's so
white.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it is really subtle. And like I said, if you wanted more, you could do a wash first or mix the paint in. Something to remember, if you're leaving, you don't want to leave too much wax on your product because you do need to wipe it away, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Okay, so
pretty.
can you see all the differences here? My tape is too good.
Pauline, great idea. I didn't know you can color the wax. Absolutely you can. Just a little bit of your chalk paint and to the clear or actually into any of them and you can create your own.
Can you see all that?
Do you want me to lift
So
it?
beautiful. No, I think that was good.
All right.
It says always apply chalk paint wax in thin, even coats to ensure even drying, right?
Yeah, the more is not the better in this case, right?
No.
A thin, even coat is way easier.
Once the paint hits the chalk paint, because they work together as a team, what's needed absorbs in and the rest you're wiping away. So if you're gooping that stuff on there, you're just wasting money and time and effort to wipe it away afterwards. Right? You can build it up to a certain degree and you can even leave it thicker in the grooves if your piece has detail, but then it does take longer to dry, right?
Right. So the two mistakes, right? Too much wax and buffing too soon.
So when did we say when you buff?
I don't know. Did we? Anyway,
24 hours.
Cover it again.
Yeah, 24 hours you could buff. Just, it's not a workout. It's not like, ooh, I'm buff.
No.
It's just like creating a little bit of heat, right?
Just get the
And
white,
that's with
the
a
wood grain.
clean, lint-free rag. Or some people have asked, could you use an electric buffer?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
It's super fun.
If you have a big tabletop or a kitchen, that's definitely the way to go with that.
I like to use the blue shop towels as well, like those paper
you?
towels that are blue. It's my new thing.
I don't
love
like them. Isn't that
Oh,
funny,
really?
right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love how creative Annie's products are.
Krista says I put too much wax once. Took me 20 years to make it smooth.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you have made that mistake, please let us know. We can help you through it. There's never anything you've done wrong. We can just help you fix that or go to the next step.
We have a few cheats. We can help you out.
Yeah. So apply 2 thin coats of chalk paint. Wax is best. And definitely we talked about that. Wait until the solvents of the wax evaporate before buffing. So don't buff too soon.
Yeah, if you just try to buff right away, you're going to make an uneven finish. So you're going to be pulling your wax off, and some spots are going to be sunk like a little bit more in there. And
then you call us and go, it looks uneven.
Right.
And temperature has so much to do with it. If you're waiting for your wax to cure in the garage, it might be too chilly.
Yeah. Don't do it.
But then it says don't leave wax too long before buffing.
Yeah, so like if you leave your project a week and then come back to it and try to buff it, it's going to be cured on there, so you're not going to be able to remove a lot of it.
You have to kind of reactivate it and then buff it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Deborah says this was so helpful, and I love that I can go back and refer back to this.
Yeah.
So, yes, good. So chalk paint cures in 5 to 21 days. We talked about that. Just be gentle with it, and then you need it to totally harden at room temperature. Be patient. The curing process, yes. Maintaining your wax finish. We talked about that. You did that. Watermarks we talked about. Yeah. Let's talk about what is our other lacquer. Lacquer. Okay.
Lacquer?
Yeah.
All this stuff out of your way.
And when would you not wax?
Okay, so if you have a project that you're doing outdoors, if it ever gets hot again, you can bake it in the sun. So paint your piece, put it outside, and just let the sun bake it on there. Then you can use a bit of a damp rag after like 24 hours or longer even, and just kind of give it a wipe. That almost gives it like a fine sanding and just really sets it in there.
I had a lady, if you're watching, lady, I forgot her name, but she asked about terracotta pots. She said, do I wax it if it's outside, or do I lacquer it? I'm confused. I saw the information somewhere, and I did respond to her personally, but I just thought we would talk about that too. Because we will talk about painting terracotta as it gets closer to spring, but what would you tell her now?
I would just either bake it on there and let it do its thing. The water does kind of seep through a little bit. I love the white with a bit of green and dirtiness coming in there. If you want to keep it pristine and clear, I would lacquer it. Do not use chalk paint wax outside in the hot sun. So then it does reactivates it and gets sticky, and wax inside, lacquer outside.
Okay. Annie has 2 whackers. Here they are. We're the 2 whackers that she's got here in the West Coast. Tune in to Annie's Whackers. 2 lacquers, a gloss and a matte.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'll let you run with that.
I'm going to just...
Okay, is that one?
Okay.
Which one is this?
Lots of laughs.
Gloss, that's the matte.
This is the matte. So
and this is the gloss.
Gloss is what a usual typical finish is for a lacquer.
Yeah.
They add non-reflective agents to the matte to give it a little bit more of, like, no sheen, right? So if you were going to do this on a dark color, what would you do?
Well, because of the flattening agent in here, if you put it on too thick on a dark color, you could see some white, milky look. Yeah. So it is suggested that you do a coat of the gloss first.
Right.
And then you could top it with the matte if you want the matte look. If you are using white paint or a light color paint, you could go right ahead with the matte because you're not going to see, you won't need to worry about it. Both of these lacquers will not yellow. Some people ask us, can I use another brand of lacquer? My first question is, what color paint are you using? If it's white, I'm going to highly suggest that please don't use another one, use Annie's. But of course, whatever you have at home, if you love it, use it. Yeah. Right? So we painted tile last week, and we did not put any lacquer on it.
No.
So how would you apply lacquer?
Okay, so temperature has got a lot to do with it again. So make sure your room is not freezing cold or not too hot. So stir it really well from the bottom up. Keep stirring. Your first coat is recommended that you put in about 10% water. So add this to a dish, a little bit of water. That's just going to help make it really fluid and smooth.
Yes.
I'm just going to feather a little bit on here. I didn't add any water, but here we go.
Do as we say, not what we do.
So you definitely don't want to overbrush. It just starts to dry and get streaky, and you're going to add lots of brush marks. So I'm just smoothing it out and moving along. So a thin coat is your friend, and more coats is good.
So
end to end.
Here is a tip right away. If you've sanded this piece, you want to make sure you've got rid of all the sanding dust. That's the same with the wax too, right? That's the big thing.
No sanding dust.
We talked about the different sheens, the flattening agents with the mat could make white. Oh, here's an excellent tip. An excellent industry trick.
Okay, so while you're figuring that out,
yes,
I'm like, what?
Janice says, is it if it's too late and the wrong lacquer was used, now it has turned yellow. How do you suggest? What do you suggest we do next? You're not going to like this.
Paint.
Yeah, just paint over that.
Yeah, remember, Annie Sloan sticks to anything, so you can paint right over your lacquer and do it again. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's
Look how easy that was. So I'm not going to go back to this spot and try to brush out anything right now. I can see like little spots that maybe you've missed, but that's what your second coat is for.
You can also apply the lacquer with one of Annie's foam rollers. Yeah, so you could feather in the edge and then roll it. Yeah.
So very good question, Janet. Can you lacquer on top of wax?
No.
That's a hard no.
That's a hard no.
Yeah.
It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. Once you've waxed, you cannot lacquer. Once you've lacquered, you cannot wax.
Great debate when people come in and they say, I'm doing a dining room table. I have kids. Would you suggest wax or lacquer? And I think it's a personal preference.
Right.
We can show you what it looks like in both ways, because if you're really keen on it looking a certain way, then that will answer your question.
Yeah, so we're getting a similar question just came in. Is lacquer safe for the dining room table? 100%.
Yep.
Does it work better if you clean the table a lot? Does it work better than the wax, I guess?
If you're cleaning it with stuff, then yes.
Yeah.
The wax is a soft, vintage top coat. It wears over time. You can re-wax it. And I'm doing my table. I choose wax.
I choose wax as well.
Me too.
There you go.
Yeah. We had some debate on if you saw the reel that I painted my fridge on Instagram. So people were like, well, did you wax that? Did you lacquer it? I lacquered it, and I did quite a few coats of the Annie Sloan lacquer, and now it's completely washable. It's like hard as nails on there. You do not have to prime on that. The Annie Sloan chalk paint sticks to pretty much everything. So I painted it, I guess 2.5 coats kind of thing, and then I lacquered it, sorry. So I think I did 3 coats of lacquer, and it's a solid finish. I did that last year, and it's been sitting there through our whole reno. It's been hit with drywall and different things, and there's no chips. Like,
it's the lacquer
beautiful.
you put on the floor too, right?
Yeah.
So it's a really hard finish.
Yeah, it's a hard finish.
Yeah. And it's also what you're going to use on your outside items.
Yeah.
If you choose not to bake it in the sun and let it wear naturally and you want to keep it really pristine, it is the lacquer you would choose in that case.
Right. It's going to protect your colors as well, because if you don't wax or lacquer or whatever, sorry, I should say lacquer, then your colors could fade out in the sun, right? So the lacquer will help protect that.
So we will talk about painting, using the chalk paint outdoors, because that's a whole other discussion as well. But of course, if you have questions earlier than we're getting to them, please feel free to ask or stop in, because we are open Tuesday to Saturday. Yeah.
Close Sunday, Monday.
Any other questions, Candace, on
No more questions at this point.
top coats? Was there anything you wanted to cover that we haven't?
I don't think so. I think we covered like
Wax
good
or lacquer.
the 4 colors.
4 colors. Gloss and matte.
Let me hold that one up.
Mark
too.
has a good point.
Yes.
You can spray the lacquer too.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could put
You could
it in
add
the
a little
sprayer.
bit of water. Yeah. I was reading an article from a woman in the UK, and they were asking her, can you spray the paint? And she said, yeah, you can, but it's so therapeutic.
Right?
To get a brush in your hand and to create this on your own, because it's just like it's a gift that just keeps giving. It's therapy in a can, and getting that brush and taking the time and creating it yourself. There is something healing to that, I think. But if you want to bang it out, you can definitely, use a sprayer. Thanks for your question, Mark. Next week.
Yeah, next week we were going to talk about textured finishes.
Yeah.
Whether it's an actual textured finish that you can feel or if it just looks like textured.
So we're going to kind of cover, I think later today or tomorrow, we're going to put out a reel on a piece that I recently did with lots of texture, lots of color. Even my little yogurt container has texture here.
Yeah, it does.
So we're going to talk about different ways to create texture on different surfaces, different ways. That's going to be next Friday at 9:30 because we're here every Friday. And anything else?
No. Come on in.
Come on in. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope we answered some questions on top coats, but we are always here and we want to be part of your success. So have a great day and we will see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Janet says she's off to wax my cabinets.
Yay!